thought you'd be getting ready by now.
I've just got to get this done. I'm nearly finished.
Oh, come on, you're making us late as usual. You just do it to annoy me.
Rick, I know you feel frustrated when we're late for things. It's okay though. Sue just phoned and said we don't have to get there until 8:30.
Oh, don't worry, you'll find something else to do in the meantime.
Look, I hear what you're saying, and I agree, it's frustrating when we're late. But often I'm doing everything that has to be done before we leave, and then I get the blame for making us late.
Like what?
Well, I could have done this earlier, except I was in the kitchen washing up after lunch.
Yeah, well, I had to pick up the mower, didn't I?
Yes, we certainly had to get the mower back. But couldn't it have waited until we cleared the lunch things? The mower shop's open till 5 o'clock.
Look, when there's something to be done, I'd like to get onto it.
And that's an admirable quality, Rick. But the only chore you did this afternoon was to pick up the mower. Now, if you could have left that for half an hour and helped clear away, we could have both been ready by now.
Yeah, you're right, really. I suppose I should have done it.
If we both did what had to be done, it'd be easier to leave on time.
Sounds reasonable. How'd you get to be so reasonable anyway?
Oh, it's called the ancient and mystical art of dealing with difficult people.
Very funny. Though I must admit you are adept at swinging me back into a more reasonable space. What's your secret?
Well, I suppose it's negotiating, really. But I have to admit, when you're dealing with a difficult person, there are times when even your best negotiating skills can fall short. You just have to stand back and be objective. And it even pays to take the other person's side a little. Once you've bridged your differences, you can go on to make it hard for the other person to say no.
What's the point of taking someone's side who won't listen to a position different from their own?
Well, the point is to open the pathways of communication, otherwise it's a stalemate. It's all about establishing a two-way listening process.
I'd like to see someone try that with Dave Gray at work.
Why? What's the problem?
Oh, he's just so frustrating to deal with. You can't get past first base with him. Take yesterday afternoon, for instance. Dave, about the new product catalogue?
Rick, I'm not interested. You do your job, I'll do mine, okay?
Oh, come on, Dave, I don't believe you're that short-sighted. We're supposed to be working
Oh,
together.
so I'm short-sighted now, am I, Rick? That's great coming from someone who's only been with the company for 6 months.
Oh, what's that got to do with it? Oh, look, any half-wit could see the new catalogue has to be...
The new catalogue. Tell someone who cares.
You see, you just can't reason with him. He takes up a position and he won't budge from it.
Yes, I can see how frustrating that must be. But how does it help your position to retaliate?
What am I supposed to do then? Give in when he won't even discuss the issues?
No, obviously giving in isn't in your best interests. But perhaps you could just stand back a bit. Take time out to think about what's happening.
Well, that'd be right up Dave's alley. Time out. He'd love me out of his hair.
When I say time out, I mean, for instance, a pause in conversation. Time out can be sharing a joke or having a coffee break. Our emotions make us who we are, but they don't need to get in our way. And let's face it, when we're angry or frustrated, our judgment can be impaired.
You mean don't react, don't you?
Well, if you want to remain objective, you have to keep your cool. Once we lose our objectivity, we just become part of the problem.
Well, that's all very well, but how do you maintain objectivity when you're dealing with someone like Dave?
Well, know your own hot buttons. And whatever happens, don't get drawn into a defensive position. That's got to be the oldest tactic in the book.
Well, I reckon I did a pretty good job of holding myself back when Dave started on about his long service advantages. Come on, Dave, I don't believe you're that short-sighted. We're supposed to be working together.
Oh, so I'm short-sighted now, am I, Rick? That's great coming from someone who's only been with the company for 6 months.
Oh, what's that got to do with it? Oh, look, any half-wit could see the new catalogue has to be...
The new catalogue. Tell someone who cares.
Well, if you mean you didn't attempt to defend yourself against Dave's attack on your credibility. See here, Dave, I may have only been with the company a short time, but my previous experience puts me way ahead of you where it counts. Well then, yes, to that extent. I guess you could say you didn't go on the defensive.
All right, I take your point. I guess I did get pretty angry. But I hate that sort of thing. I can't see why people can't stick to the point instead of going on the attack and muddying the waters.
Well, we can't control the other person's behaviour, but we can control our own responses. And the best way to make sure you don't react to such tactics is to consciously recognise them for what they are.
So you reckon if I recognise Dave's attack on my credibility as a tactic to say, get me off track, I'd be more likely to stay in control of my emotions.
Yes, and better able to stay focused on your goals. You need to concentrate on having your interests met, rather than protecting your position.
Yeah, you're right, Jen. So let me see if I've got all this. To remain objective, you need to stay focused on your goals, recognise the other person's tactics, be aware of your own emotional reactions, and stop before you speak, whether it's for a moment or a day.
Very good.
Well, let's hope Dave finds it very good on Monday.
If you keep focused on your goals and don't react to any attempt Dave may make to attack or obstruct you, you're certain to get a different outcome.
I hope you're right. After all, I only stand to lose most of my salespeople. Dave, I'd like to have another word with you about the schedule for the new product catalogue.
Oh, come on, Rick, not again.
Dave, and my salespeople are really anxious
Oh, spare me, Rick. I've actually got important things to worry about.
Dave, if you'll just hear me out.
Rick, I'm not about to start changing schedules just because...
The thing is, Dave, if we don't provide the updated info to our customers...
Believe me, Rick, in all the time I've been here, we've never lost any customers. Well, none that mattered anyway. Look, I've got to get back to this. I've got a lot on my plate this afternoon.
Here you go.
Thank you.
So, I didn't react to his behaviour. I kept my emotions in check and my mind on my objectives. The interesting thing was, he stopped attacking when he realised I wasn't fazed by his tactics. Still didn't listen to me, though.
Well, maybe that's because you wouldn't listen to him.
What do you mean?
Well, maybe you need to stop meeting him head on and instead take his side. Do the unexpected. If you want him to listen to you, then you start listening to him. If you want him to agree with you, then start agreeing with him.
But some of the things he says are just plain wrong. How can I agree with him then?
Well, you don't have to agree with everything he says. Just concentrate on the things you can agree with. The important thing is to let him know you're listening.
Okay, so I listen, I nod, I say I see and aha where appropriate.
That's right. And make sure you paraphrase what he's saying.
You mean repeat his main points back to him?
That's right. What you're doing is acknowledging what he's saying and how he's feeling. It's harder for him to be hostile if you give him that recognition.
But that doesn't mean he'll automatically agree with what I'm saying.
No, that's right. But what you're doing is creating an environment that will make communication just that much easier. You should still express your own thoughts with confidence, but do it in a non-provocative way.
And how do I do it non-provocatively?
Use the I perspective as much as you can. I feel that, or it seems to me that. That way you can express your own opinions without challenging his. And if it's warranted, don't be afraid to apologise. That's actually a sign of confidence.
Okay.
All this stuff worked wonders when I had an irate customer call up the other day.
Oh, yeah?
Hello, Mr. Booth. I hear there's been a problem with one of our deliveries.
Oh, look, it's just a complete stuff-up. I don't know how you people stay in business. I really don't.
And what's actually happened, Mr. Booth?
I ordered 50 reams of Watermark A4 from you people to be delivered yesterday morning for a big run that had to be finished this morning.
Uh-huh.
Well, it didn't get here until 2 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Oh.
Anyway, we had to work all night, and then we discovered that you'd only supplied 45 reams.
Oh, dear. No wonder you're upset. How frustrating.
That's putting it mildly. I've probably lost a damn good client over this mess.
I'm so sorry you've had such a problem, Mr. Booth. You've been with us for so long and you've been such a valued customer. You're the last person we want to see unhappy.
Well, I am unhappy. I've a good mind not to pay for that delivery.
I'm sure we can work things out, Mr. Booth. Now, there seems to have been a misunderstanding along the way somewhere. Your order was noted as an afternoon delivery, unless there was an incorrect entry, or perhaps one of your people forgot to tell us that you needed the order in the morning.
Oh, I don't think so. Anyway, that doesn't explain why we got 45 reams and not 50.
No, it certainly doesn't. Let me make a few calls this end, and if you could find out exactly what your people requested in terms of delivery time, I'll call you back in about 20 minutes. Does that sound all right?
I guess it'll do for now.
I'm sure we can work this out, Mr. Booth.
I hope so.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Anyway, in the end, we got things resolved. He paid for the delivery, and he's still a customer. All thanks to letting him know I was on his side.
You did well. So let's get this straight. To take their side, I listen actively, agree wherever possible, acknowledge his viewpoint, offer an apology if warranted, project confidence, and express my views without being provocative.
Yep, should work wonders with Dave.
Well, we'll know tomorrow, won't we? Dave, I'd like another word about that catalogue.
Oh, Rick, I told you, I just haven't got time for this.
Look, I understand that. What do you got on at the moment anyway?
A damn lot. I've got 3 meetings on this afternoon. I've got an all-day seminar on tomorrow. And to make matters worse, I've got to have this report ready for Pete Simpson by Friday.
All right.
And you're talking to me about catalogue schedules?
Yeah, I certainly agree. You got your work cut out for you.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
I know the feeling. Rather be on holiday, eh?
You better believe it.
So, what's the report for Pete Simpson all about?
Oh, he wants to look at the expense allocations for the promotions budget. Look, I tell you, it's no bed of roses round here at the moment.
Yeah, it makes it tough. And my problem is our salespeople desperately need an updated catalogue. I told them we were geared up for big sales and now they're breathing down my neck.
Yeah, I can see things are tough for you too. Look, just tell them to back off, okay? I'll see you later.
Could have been worse. Hi, you ready for lunch? See you there in 10. Bye.
So how are you going with you-know-who?
I listened, I agreed, I conquered.
You conquered?
No, not really. I did listen though and agreed with him where I could. And when he saw I was acknowledging his viewpoint, he stopped being hostile and actually listened to what I had to say.
Congratulations, the first chink in his armour.
Still wouldn't budge from his position though.
So, instead of defending his position, we need to get him involved in the problem-solving process. Positive refocusing, I call it. You've got to find a way of bridging your differences.
Sounds good. How do we do it?
Well, a good start is to ask him lots of problem-solving questions. If he's providing answers, then he's automatically involved in working towards a solution.
Clever. So what would you call a problem-solving question?
Well, keep the questions open. You know, questions that can't be answered with a knee-jerk yes or no. Thinking questions, I call them. Why, what, how, that sort of thing. Why do you need that? Or what is your concern in that area?
Right. Try to get to where he's coming from, uncover what his underlying interests are.
And if that doesn't work, try asking why not or what if. A what if question is great because it can get him exploring options.
Like, what if I organised a bit of help for you from one of the other departments?
Now you're thinking. Oh, another good approach is to ask him for his advice.
That'd be the last thing you'd expect me to do.
Exactly. People are always flattered when you ask them for advice. It's a way of saying that you value their judgment. Plus, it gets them thinking about things from your perspective. What would you do if you were in my shoes?
Hey, bonus. So, if I ask him for his ideas and he sees that his ideas have helped to solve the problem, then he'll be more likely to agree, right?
Absolutely. Get his participation and you're on the road to bridging your differences. But remember to take things slowly. If people feel like they're being pressured into something, they'll often put up more resistance. Just relax and guide him step by step.
But what if he answers me by attacking or just being obstinate?
Easy. Either ignore the particular comment completely, pretend you didn't hear it, for example, or just take whatever he says and direct it towards the problem. Oh, and don't forget the old save face principle.
Well, like you do with me, letting me back away rather than admitting I'm wrong.
Well, yeah. If it helps to overcome an obstacle to agreement, it's worth it.
Right, so I'm bridging differences. That means asking open-ended, preferably problem-solving questions. I ask for his advice and I ask for his ideas. I don't rush him, but just take things step by step. And I ignore or redirect attacks and obstructions.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, let's see how I go this afternoon. You know, I'm actually starting to enjoy the challenge. Dave,
Oh, Rick.
how's the exciting world of report writing?
Oh, not bad, actually. I think I'm winning on that one.
Great.
Well, don't get too excited. My production schedule stays the same.
Yeah, fair enough. Why is your schedule so locked in anyway?
It's locked in because that's the way it is.
I mean, how about getting some more help?
It's not as easy as that. I'm trying to keep advertising costs low, right? If I put on extra staff to bring out the new catalogue ahead of schedule, then my budget starts to look silly and Alan starts asking questions. I won't do it, Rick.
Oh, I understand those pressures on you. My problem is I've got salespeople screaming at me for support on this new product line, and I can't get it to them as quickly as they want it. What would you do in my situation, Dave?
Tell them to try patience for once in their lives. No, well, for a start, I would establish whether they actually need this extra stuff that quickly or not.
Yeah, I could do that, I suppose. Hey, just getting back to what you said about putting on more staff, we could use that idea, actually. What if you were to get somebody from one of the other departments who isn't busy to help you out in the short term? I mean, that'd help keep costs down, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, of course that's going to help. But things will still affect my budget.
What if I were to talk to Alan? What if I convinced him that my projected sales figures are rock solid and got him to give you more leeway on your budget?
Well, then we might have another look at it. But good luck. You're going to need it.
Okay.
Hey, you've come a long way. Instead of just defending his position, he's now exploring options with you.
Yeah, those open-ended questions are great. Once he relaxed a bit, his underlying interest started coming out. I thought he was blocking me because he was plain stubborn, but I think underneath he was insecure about how Alan saw his performance.
Well, the way you went about it, he couldn't say no, really. You neither threatened or insisted. You left him with options. And by opening the way for Alan to be involved in a positive way, there's room for further negotiation.
It's amazing, you know. Follow the process and it's not that difficult. Be objective, take their side, bridge your differences, and make it hard for them to say no. You know, I reckon both Dave and I are going to be happy with the outcome.
Yep. You know, in the long run, mutual satisfaction is sweeter than victory.
I'll drink to that.